Listen, whenever any Aramis was a cologne that was out, I got called Aramis. My 5th grade teacher, Miss Morris, I hated the most because Miss Morris intentionally mispronounced my name every day. I remember I started Miss Morris's class out in the front row, and then she started really messing up my name. The kids would just laugh and laugh. By the end of the semester, I was at the back row trying to hide, right? I didn't like her very much. I thought she was so mean. So by 8th grade, I came up with a strategy, right? How am I going to compensate for having this name, Armors, that no one can pronounce? So I played football. I went up to my football coach, Kathy, and I was like, Coach. He was also my math teacher. I was like, Coach, I need you to do me a favor. He was like, what? It was in the middle of class. We were working on an assignment. I went up to his desk. He said, I need you to do me a favor. I was like, he was like, what? I need you to call me Amos. He said, what? Coach, I would like for you to call me Amos, A-M-O-S. I thought it was a brilliant plan. He said, okay, tell me, why you want me to call you Amos? I was like, because people can pronounce that, and it's this guy out with some cookies right now, and people like him. I mean, I really thought I had a good plan going here. I really did. He was like, no, I'm not going to call you Armors. I was like, why, Coach? He said, because it's not your name. So I went to my grandmother, who came up with this clever thing, because my father, you know, he's Armors, and then I'm Armors, right? Now, my father's the oldest of 9. His brothers are Robert, Oscar, Morris, Roy. You see where we're going with this, right? So I'm like, Grandma, where did you get this name Armors from? What does this mean, you know? But I was like kind of upset. I was like 13, and I didn't approach her right. So she was like, look, I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi, so you can imagine how she responded to me. She was like, boy, if you don't get out of my face. So I never got the answer from my grandmother. I don't know where she got the name. People ask me, is it a family name? Well, my father had it. So that's a little history on the name Armors. People wonder all the time, where did the name come from? Has anybody ever seen the name Armors before? My record's still standing. I think I'm the only one left. My father's not here anymore. I think I'm the only one on the planet. So a little bit about my story. Armors. I come from a background of sales. And most recently, I was in medical sales. And in medical sales, I traveled from territory to territory, primarily selling to hospitals. I was selling diagnostic testing. Here's a seat on the front row, dear. Thank you. And so she's a friend of mine, just in case you were wondering. So I traveled from state to state, primarily selling diagnostic testing services to hospitals. I did that for 4 years. And then I really realized that I had an affinity for the cancer testing. And so I actually left that company, went to a boutique company that specialized in cancer testing. And what I did when I went to that company is I really focused in on what aspect of that company, in terms of the service that they offered, that I could get passionate about, because it's very, very competitive in medical sales. And so that's the first point that I want you to make a note of, is that you don't necessarily have to truly love the work you do, but if you can find a piece of it or an aspect of it that you can really, really get passionate about, then we can create our own energy around our work. So that's point number 1. So I began to go out, go to doctors. First I was going to hospitals, then I began going to doctors. I began to go to doctors, and I had success.